Hello. What if we suffered a catastrophic meltdown of our national grid? So no electricity for a few days for everyone, or nearly everybody. Okay. But you're at home and you think, well, I've still got my gas. I've got my gas cooker. Radiators might still work, but I've got my gas cooker so I can do some cooking. So it's not that bad. Well, if you think that the gas is going to stay on while the electricity is off, then you've got another thought coming. If you'd like to know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. Thank you for sticking around. Okay, so before I go on about electricity, let's just talk about the gas. I know that we've got all this thing with the Ukraine, and I'm not going to rehash all of that, but I think this picture highlights the idea that the Russians are essentially turning the tap on and off according to how they feel, controlling the gas supplies to Europe. Okay. Now, back in the UK, the governments over the past, successive governments, not just the current one, they haven't really helped the matters very much, because the situation that we find ourselves at the moment is that we don't, in the UK, actually store very much gas. If we compare ourselves to the Netherlands, for instance, we store about a tenth of what they store. A third of our gas is piped across the North Sea from Norway. Okay, now this picture is not a North Sea pipeline. I get this is one from Alaska, but you get the idea. Okay, so a third of our gas comes from pipelines across the North Sea. We get a considerable amount of gas comes on boats from Qatar and places like that. Okay, and obviously the government are looking at fracking and all this sort of stuff. So we do have a bit of a diversification of our supply. So if one particular supply was hit, we can still get gas. But as the North Sea diminishes, we will become more and more vulnerable to the world's ups and downs. Now, also, what made it worse, or has made it worse, is that for the last 30 years or so, there's been a facility run by a company called Centrica in North Yorkshire, which actually stored between 10 and 12 days of the UK's gas requirements. But in 2017, guess what? Our government decided to close it or mothball it because certain repairs were becoming a bit more expensive than they wanted. So it got mothballed. Now, of course, at the time, the world supply was okay. There was no real incentive to, insulate yourself against the problems from the world and get your own gas, because everything was cheap and plentiful. There wasn't a problem. Okay. And so Centrica was doing this for 30 years. And then he closed it in 2017. Amazingly, of course, now the government wants to reopen it and they're looking to ways of doing that. But, the horse has definitely bolted. All right. Now, also, the government were quite happy to lose this facility because there is this net zero strategy the government has, where the idea would be we're going to get rid of gas anyway, so it was all part of the big plan. However, things are not looking so good now, are they? Also, I do believe that the Hinkley B power station is due to come offline. It was due to start being brought offline last month. I don't know whether it's actually proceeding or not. Maybe somebody could mention this in the comments down below. But at a time when we are in an energy crisis, why would you close a power station? Okay, just fix it. If it's getting a bit old, don't close it, just fix it. Okay. Now, how does this gas I'm talking about affect your electricity? All right, well, here we come to the crunch of it. Okay, 40% of our energy is generated by burning gas. 40%, so nearly half. Okay. Also, huge amounts of our industry requires gas in order to operate. Like, for instance, there are, and I'm not a steel expert, I just read this yesterday somewhere, but there are certain processes in the steel industry which require gas. Okay, so all the way from the petrochemical industries, all the way through food, steel, whatever it is, lots of our industries use gas. Okay, now suppose we didn't have much gas. All right, now originally when I started this, I started saying when we lose our electricity, you go, well, why are we going to lose our electricity? Because we haven't got enough gas. Could easily be the reason. Okay, so you can end up with this situation where we're being starved of gas, we're not getting it. 40% of our electricity that comes into our home is generated from burning gas. Okay, so it doesn't take much to join the dots up and say if we don't have any gas, there's a good chance you won't have any electricity. Okay, now here's the thing. Homes use gas as for your cooker, for instance, but so does the industry. So you get this situation where you've got a choice might have to be made. Do we send the gas to the homes or do we send the gas to the industry? Now, I live in the northeast of England and there's a lot of industry around here. Okay, there are some manufacturing plants just over the way where that one manufacturing plant uses the same gas as what a small town does. Okay, and it could easily be a stark choice. Do we turn the gas off to the likes of you and me so that the industry can keep going, or do we keep us okay and stop the industry? Okay, now that's not a choice I would like to make, but I know what that choice would be. We will be we will be sitting in the dark with no cooker. Okay, so now I'm hoping that was just a brief explanation. Bottom line is, think about it and do something about it so when it happens you have been prepared. Thank you.